Hi there everybody, it's Rarity here from inkybutterfly.com. Thank you for joining me today, and we're going to be making a variation on this card today. So colours I've featured in here are our ink colours from last year. So we've got Evening Evergreen and Pale Papaya, that's the combo, and then I've brought in some of the greens from the sort of core family to colour in the leaves. Okay, so this is our variation. So it features a brand new stamp set. This is called Fresh Cut Flowers. Really nice line art stamp, perfect for colouring in your favourite medium. So if you're a watercolourist or anything like that, you'll have great fun with that. Do have some nice silhouettes as well. Smaller element here with like these lovely seed heads on, so that would be nice on a smaller card too. But I thought today I would stamp this large image and colour that in with you today. Okay, so that's that. So like I say, that's from the new annual catalogue that's come out in the last couple of weeks. So let's get cracking. I'm going to change up the colours as always. So we're going to swap out Pale Papaya for Fresh Freesia, stick with the Evening Evergreen layers though. Alright, okay, so let's get cracking. I'm going to use some scrap card just to sort of lean on, and then I've got my stamp already mounted into a into my stamp apparatus. It's a large stamp, so will it fit on an e-block? I haven't even tried. Yeah, it would fit on an e-block if you wanted to stamp it by hand, but I thought with it being larger I would get out the stamp apparatus tool. So we'll just ink that up, and of course the beauty of using the stamp apparatus means that if it does go wrong we can stamp it again. So let's get that done. It's going to use a soft cloth to help me apply some even pressure. It's come out a little light, so I'm going to go again. Whoops. Let's stamp that with the ink, shall we, not the lid. just light tapping all the way over the image, and because that paper won't have moved, it will go down in exactly the same place. It's not going to get any double lines. Okay, brilliant. So that's perfect for what we need. We'll probably end up, in fact I can guarantee we're going to trim it down afterwards. This is a full, what I call a full stamp layer, so that's 4 by 5 3/4 at the moment, but say we'll just trim it down afterwards. So I've just got some scrap card stock in the background there, just to lean on while I'm colouring. And like I say, I'm going to be swapping out the colours, but first of all I'm going to do the foliage. So for that I'm going to pull out Old Olive stamping blends. These are, so I've stamped in Memento ink, which is water based, so we can colour with our alcohol based markers. So this is Old Olive, and then I'm going to bring in my light Mossy Meadow as well, just to give me that extra shade of darkness in the bottom. Could use Evening Evergreen as well, it might be a little dark though. Okay, so I'm thinking let's zoom you in a little bit, shall we? Yeah, okay, so bear with, it's going to be a longer video, okay, because we're doing some colouring. I'll probably end up zipping through some of it once we've done a little bit of it, but we'll crack on. So starting with the foliage, and I'm laying down a little bit of the light colour first, in this case it's the light Old Olive. So this is mainly going down over the tips of the leaves, down towards the stems, bit on the actual flower stems as well. So the general aim will be that the areas closest to the stems are going to be darker, where they meet or make contact with other things. Same with these ones, so I'm just going to go over those ones. They're a little bigger, so I'm going to do that a little faster. And by no means is that perfect colouring at all, because we're going to be going over this and adding a load more layers. Okay, so now we've got a bit of the light colour down. I'm actually going to jump and go to the darkest marker. Oh, no. So this one's been sat in my unused for a little bit, so that has just got some alcohol that's just pooled into the nib. So just rubbing that off. Sometimes it happens if you haven't used them for a while. Mossy Meadow isn't one that I use a lot, but if you just sort of wick it out, that will resolve itself. So there we go. So I'm just dropping this dark colour, like I say, just in where things meet, and it's going to look really ugly to start off with, until the magic blending happens. Okay, so just bear with it, give it some time. If there are lines in the artwork where it indicates like a vein or something like that, then I'll be going over that too. On the other bits, just here and there, little teeny tiny things. So this is something that you can, you know, you want some sort of quiet and relaxing time. Colouring in is what you need. Not everyone enjoys it, but I quite like it. Making the sample was really, really nice. You know, spent some time on it, and so that blob of alcohol is still drying out, so we'll just leave that to dry out while we press on with the rest of the card. So normally I would tell you as well to just try out your markers first, and of course I didn't practice what I preach there, did I? Okay, so that's a bit of the dark one in, so now we're going to jump back to our old olive and bring in the darker colour. So let's just make sure. So yeah, I'm going to use the bullet tip for this actually, and just go over that darker Mossy Meadow and then pull it out a little bit more into the leaf, the body of the leaf, the rest of it. So over the top and sort of flick out a bit more, so you get this gradient of colour. Did that one already, I think. So what you need to be careful of is that you don't end up sort of filling your leaf with all the dark and not having any space for your light, if you know what I mean. So you'll get the contrast in your colouring, you see. Okay, so you can't have light without dark. Okay, so unless you make those dark areas, your light areas won't look light, if you know what I mean. Bit complicated to explain. I think you know what I mean. Right, let's bring our light marker back in. In fact, I might even switch the bullet tip because that's quite a small area to fill in. Blends just as well. Okay. Change my mind. I'm allowed to do that. Yeah, it's blending better. Not going to worry too much if I've gone out the lines either. only by a little bit, through with the light marker, and when we go around the edge, that'll disappear. Okay, just go around the edges then of these leaves. Don't want to blend out that dark too much. Like I say, you know, you need that dark there to give you the contrast on the other pieces. Okay, and that's that. Now you can go back and forth, putting in light and dark areas as much as you want. So I feel like I just need to intensify. Let's just try that again, shall we? Intensify the dark areas a little more. So just going over that again. The alcohol's still wet, so it's sort of diffusing as we go. Okay, and you can keep going and adding colour as much as you want until you get the look that you're after. Okay. That was really, hear that squeaky pen lid? They have to be tight though. I want to keep them nice and airtight so they don't dry out in between uses. Make sure they click back on. Okay. Oh, that's drying out a little bit now, so we can probably get that leaf sorted out. Let's put a dark colour in. And come back in with a light. Okay, and also don't forget that the more ink you add, the darker your colour will become. So don't be tempted to, if you overwork it, you're gonna lose some of that definition. Okay, right, so there we go, that's what we've got so far. Okay, and obviously holding it up to you like that, and with the camera light balance on things, you will see more of the demarcations between the blends than you will in real life as well. Okay, I always find that when I take pictures of cards, the slightest little hint of a blob of something seems to become more apparent, so just bear that in mind. So for the flowers, I'm going to bring in my fresh freesia markers and Highland heather markers. So when I did my little swatch of colours to work out what I was going to do, in fact I'm going to just pull in that little scrap of paper. I was just messing about with how the colours looked on the cardstock. Okay, and I actually went and decided that this was going to be my blend, which is actually Highland heather, dark and light, and then the lightest of the fresh freesias, to get the blend that I wanted. The dark fresh freesia was a little bit on the pink side, so that's what we're doing for the flower. So just like we did with the leaves, I'm going to just drop in a bit of the lightest colour first. Okay, just sort of moistens the paper, and it's not about colouring the whole thing in, it's just about getting that sort of process going and applying some alcohol to the image. Okay, so I've just scribbled that on, and you've just witnessed that as well. So the dark Highland heather, I'm going to start with the bullet tip. And again, when I did my little swatch, the bullet tip, because it's been used less, has got nice dark pigment in there. So again, I'm looking for where the petals overlap each other and where there's natural creases. So this big petal is laying over the top of this one, so there's going to be a natural shadow where those two overlap. Okay, and then obviously in the centre there'll be some dark bits because the light's not going to get into there. Okay, so that's what I'm going to do. Okay, so again, these teeny petals at the back are shadowed by the ones in the front. So let's drop in that shadow, and it's just running almost along the edge of that line art there. Let's drop some in on this portion in the centre where those leaves are curling over, petals even are curling over. We've got some here where the petals are overlapping, here, here, and here. Okay, and then the side of this one, but this one's right at the front. Okay, so we're going to do that on this one as well. We're going to follow this one around. It's in front of everything. Underneath here, underneath here. In the middle portion there. And sort of around these little curly bits. And I'm even going to pull in a little bit on there. Okay, now I'm going to switch to the other end of the marker. So whilst this is still the dark marker, the the brush tip on this one just gave us a nice shade to work with to blend that out. So I'm literally going back over where I've just been and then working out either side of that. Okay, so there's the line. I'm going to bring it out a little bit further, bring it out a little bit further, bring it out a little bit further on all of those. So the smaller leaves will end up darker than the ones that are larger, that are more open. They will be catching more of the light. I think I just called them leaves again, didn't I? Might just go over those centres a little bit, really. There we are. Now I'm going for light Highland heather, the bullet tip, brush tip. And again, dropping some more colour in next door to that. One I've just put down. I'm going to put. Apologies, the camera had stopped rolling partway through that, so I don't know quite where we got up to. I'm now at the point where I am dropping in the lightest colour over all the areas that we've skipped. Okay, and just let that do its thing. That's drying really, really nicely. And again, you may want to intensify your dark again. So by the time you've done your blending, sometimes it just sort of disappears a bit. So I'm just going to drop that in just like I did before. So quiet. This is dark Highland heather. Okay, that's looking lovely. Go. Looks really, really cute. And then just one last little bit of the lightest colour, just to help those little bits blend back in. Not too much though, otherwise you'll be diluting them out again, which is not what we were going to do. And that's that then. So that's going to dry back beautifully, I think. Okay. The only other thing, just to the little centres of those, I could do with lifting out a little bit. Let's use blackberry bliss for that, shall we? Yeah, dark blackberry bliss. Let's use the point of that. Just to bring out the centres of those a little bit. There we go. And then there looks like a bit more intensity on that. Okay, lovely. I think that's worked out really, really beautifully. So let's just zoom you back out again. To about there, aren't you? Okay, so like I said, we're going to, oh, I haven't quite finished actually. I haven't done my little bit around the edge with Pool Party. Pool Party is an interesting colour for this kind of thing. So all I'm going to do is just, with the lightest marker, just run around the edge of the image. And it just, it's really strange how just doing this really kind of lifts it from the background. It doesn't have to be super precise either. It's so light. You could use soft sea foam as well, or even one of the lighter grey markers, smoky slate or grey granite. And like I say, it's probably barely discernible on camera, but it just makes the whole thing pop. So I'm not being super careful, as you can see. I don't want this to take forever, you see. I want this to be something that you can achieve. Okay, and it's just incredible how that pops, and I don't know whether it comes across as well on camera, but it's just really, really lovely how it just sort of stands out from the card. Really, really cool. So I'm going to trim off 1/4 of an inch now off each of these. Sides, and then see how it looks. So as long as you trim off the same amount on at least 2 of the sides, you're going to keep it square, or at least in proportion, shall we say. That's probably the better word, because it's not a square, it's a rectangle. So I'm going to take 1/8 off that, and that looks cool. And then I think I'll just take the extra 1/8 off the bottom. And then that looks nice and even. So by my reckoning, that makes that yeah, so that's 3 3/8 by 5 1/8 at the moment, so we're going to have our layer at 3.5 by 5 1/4. So let's do that. 3.5 by 5 1/4, and that fits around there beautifully. Okay. Some nice scraps of card there to use for something else. I'm just going to layer that up with my trusty Stampin' Seal. Like so. And then that's going to go onto our card base. Now, I don't actually know if this is the right size, so let's just pull it out. Nope, not quite. Just need that extra little bit trimmed off. So an A4 sheet is just if you score it, sorry, cut at 4 1/8. You just need to take a slither off the second half, just make it 4 1/8. Score at 5 7/8, and that's your card base done. Really easy with the Stampin' Up paper trimmer. Okay, and then you can put this onto the card. So I like to do it sideways and look at my 3 borders, sort of keeping hold of it in my dominant hand and then dropping it down afterwards to get our card. That looks amazing. I'm really pleased with how this looks. I'm really pleased. So the only so the bits now are just the embellishments. So I just need sentiment ribbon and stuff. So the open weave ribbon from last year with the in colours has carried into this annual catalogue, which is really great actually, because you get so much ribbon. It's good that they carry it over for the 2 years. Really good value. There aren't many ribbons I've actually got to the end of a spool of, apart from my beloved polka dot ribbon that they'd retired. So my go-to now for white ribbon is the crinkled seam binding, which takes colour really well as well. So if you're looking to have something in your stash and get the best bang for your buck, if you go for that, you can then colour it with either Stampin' Right markers or Stampin' Blends. Stampin' Blends are good because the alcohol dries and they're ready to use much quicker. And then you've got colour coordinated ribbon for whatever project you like. So there we go, there's our little ribbon detail. It's got a stamp here which I actually took from Hello Beautiful. This is a new set. This lovely thank you. This set comes with coordinating dies, which you can obviously buy as a bundle and save yourself 10%. This is called Beautiful Shapes. So I've got these really cute diamonds, hexagons, and then these shapes have got some embossed detail in them too, which is awesome. So our Evening Evergreen ink there. It's a nice ink for sentiments actually. We can pop that down. You can see this is just a scrap of cardstock. Perfect for this kind of thing. And then we can lay our die over the top. Where we want it, which is about there. And run that through the cut and emboss machine. All of those dies would fit through the mini if you have the mini, and do look out for some great bundle deals with the mini actually. Some new bundles out, so you can buy a mini cut and emboss with selected dies. And then we've also got a phenomenal starter kit as well. So there's absolutely, it's a no-brainer really, the starter kit. 99 quid, you get all the ink colour stuff. So you get the ink pads, cardstock and DSP included in that as your extra gift this time around for the joining offer. And then with these bundles you can get an embossing machine, a die cut machine. It embosses too, but yeah, and some dies, and then top up with whatever else you fancy out of the catalogue, all for 99 quid, and it's shipped for free. Phenomenal value. These are new. These are the 2021-2023 in colour opal rounds. So these are new for this annual catalogue. So as the name suggests, we've got all the colours. So I'm thinking we're going to go with the fresh freesia ones, I think, rather than the evening evergreen ones. Use the evening evergreen on the other one, but I think this one is going to look cute with these on. That is so pretty. And they've got like this iridescent sort of glitter in them, which is super, super pretty. And there we go. That's our fresh freesia version of this. Oof, very nice. Very, very nice. I really like this one. It's turned out much better than I thought it was going to. So I'd love to know which one you prefer out of those two. Hope you've enjoyed a slightly longer video showing you how to do that colouring and taking your time going through that. Okay, thanks for joining me today. Stay safe, take care, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.